Hi, my name's Pam Wenz, Director of Family Services. You've already heard powerful stories from a U.S.-born lifetime survivor and an adoptive dad. This year, REACH welcomed an influx of immigrants. Names have been changed in these stories. In June, we met Mercy, age 28, and guardian of Peter, age 15, who's living with HIV. As siblings orphaned by HIV, they managed to immigrate to Washington just before we met them. Peter attended the REACH summer picnic where he enjoyed group games, good food, and kicking the soccer ball. As he said goodbye, he told us he looked forward to Labor Day camp. Strangely, throughout the summer and into the fall, our invitations to camp received no response. Figuring something came up, we continued to warmly invite to events and send notes and birthday cards as usual. In January, I invited Mercy to our parent support group on Zoom. I didn't foresee a response, but I wanted her to know we were thinking of her, so I sent a quick follow-up text. Hope you all are doing well. I was shocked when she replied, "Hi Pam, we are not doing okay. I need help, please." I called her immediately. She sounded awful, so I assumed she was sick. It grieved me to hear that she had suffered a traumatic injury. For months, she had tried to go back to work, but they always sent her home, urging her to take care of herself. She said her small savings had dwindled until it was gone, and rent was due in a few days, and she was terrified they would end up homeless. I asked if I could visit her. When she said yes, I sent 2 quick emails and was out the door. On my way to her apartment, I swung by the food bank here at Families Unlimited Network and collected food for the family. The visit was concerning, as Mercy at different points threw up and came close to passing out. I urged her to lie down while I put away the groceries and waited for Peter to get home from high school to be available for her. While I was there, Cecilia was following up on my emails to our partners, Community Healthcare and the Washington Department of Health, making multiple phone calls to find a doctor for Mercy and to track down the family's case manager to help with housing. This whirlwind of communication bore fruit the very next day. First, the DOH case manager called Mercy and arranged rental assistance for them. Second, Mercy got an appointment with a primary care physician, someone that could care for her health long-term, different from her experiences at urgent care or the ER. Last week on the phone, Mercy told me that the headaches were gone and she was getting plenty of hours at work. We prioritize staying in frequent communication with our families, keeping up with what's going on in their lives, and like Mercy, our participants know they can approach us with any kind of problem. They trust us to care, be confidential, and help them. When the scope of their need goes beyond our offerings of unconditional acceptance, safe community, joy, and trust, we are connected to the network of HIV support so we can be the link between their need and the intervention. Recently, we enjoyed a more lighthearted REACH expression of care when Cecilia and I made a home visit to Mercy and Peter's apartment with donuts and chocolate milk to celebrate Peter's 16th birthday. I never had so much fun teaching a family Old Maid, and I can't wait to welcome them to Labor Day getaway this year, healthy and ready for adventure.
Hello, everybody. I'm Cecilia. I'm the Volunteer and Events Coordinator here at REACH. I'm going to tell the story about another one of our immigrants. Rodrigo was born with HIV and grew up hearing that he wouldn't live very long. After watching both parents die of AIDS in his home country, Rodrigo braved the long journey to the U.S. border as a young teen. He was allowed into the U.S., but he was completely alone. After being placed in foster care here, his life stabilized for a while and he graduated high school, always striving to block out thoughts of his past. Aging out of foster care was isolating. That's when we met Rodrigo. His first REACH experience was Labor Day getaway. Upon arrival, Rodrigo paced the parking lot for a while, too scared to check in. We spotted him and rushed to greet him. We introduced him to our bilingual volunteers right away, but never could have we predicted how much he would connect with our volunteer Armando. They were inseparable for the next 4 days. Rodrigo was like an assistant counselor to all of Armando's campers, which the kids loved. Rodrigo blossomed, playing with the kids, meeting peers, even dancing at campfire. When see you later hugs were given on the lawn, Rodrigo lamented, "I don't want to leave." We could tell he really meant it. We physically had to part ways with him that day, but Reach is increasingly present with Rodrigo throughout the year. Armando was trained to be a Reach mentor to continue the friendship, bringing frequent doses of unconditional acceptance and reminders that HIV does not define Rodrigo. Monthly Lifetime Survivor support groups on Zoom show him he's not the only young adult who's been living with HIV as long as he can remember. Rodrigo and I have frequent conversations in our heart language. He asks us for advice about work life or college. He even invites us to his soccer games. It took him 3 attempts, but eventually, Rodrigo poured his heart out, more about his story to Dan and I. His roommate took the knowledge of Rodrigo's status that he'd been trusted with and turned on him a few years ago, sabotaging every one of Rodrigo's friendships or potential relationships by disclosing Rodrigo's status right away, and spreading lies that he was contagious and dangerous. Knowing about his painful betrayal, it makes sense why the Reach culture, the judgment-free zone, transformed Rodrigo. The truth about Reach is that he could have told every single person at our Labor Day getaway about his status, and no one would have think different of him. Participants experiencing freedom, joy, and moving forward towards a flourishing life. That is the power of unconditional acceptance in our community. Thank you.